This is assignment number 47. And we already had the test, I think, on ratio and proportion. I need to give that back to you. All right. Anyway, so here we go. So yesterday you had the term ratio, for example, 8 red to 12 green. So there's a ratio, and we could reduce it. Again, I gave you paper. There's paper near you. I can reduce it dividing by 4, which is 2 over 3. But today, you're going to have what they call a proportion, which is an equation that shows two ratios or rates that are equal. Two rates that are equal. For example, down here. Okay, let's see. And there's two ways to see if they're equal. One way, in fact, they did it on this example. One way is to cross multiply. I can go 9 times 21, which is 189. 27, and you do it in an upwards way towards heaven. 27 times 7 is 189. So those are equal proportions. I can also, I don't want to have to multiply that. If the numbers are really big, you should see if you could reduce them. Like 3 goes into both of these. 3 divided by 7. 27 divided by 3 is 9. And then I can see right away that those two are equal. So these are equal proportions. Determine if each of the following forms a proportion. Again, if you cross multiply or if you reduce one and they're equal, then therefore they are proportions. So we'll put a equal or not equal to justify your answer. So can I, because I don't want to go 35 times 4, can I reduce 28 over 35?
Yes.
What goes into both of them? Is it 7?
3. No, no. What? Yeah, 7.
7. So divide by 7. So 28 divided by 7 is 4. 35 divided by 7 is 5. Is it equal to the other one? So they are equal proportions. So I'm just going to put a yes. Okay. Then here's one where I certainly don't want to cross multiply. I do if it's very small, but I'm gonna see if I can reduce this. What's the only thing that goes into 49? Is 7. So I'm going to see if 7 goes into that. So 96 divided by 7 is 1. 1 times 7 is 7. Okay. And it's not even going to go in. So I can already tell if I can reduce this one by 7, but I can't reduce this one by 7, they're not going to be equal. Okay. Then, this one's a hard one. I'm not going to give you hard ones like this. I am not, but we'll go ahead and do it. If it's big like this, sometimes I'm going to reduce it in this fashion. This is 6 over 138, 4 over 92. So I'm going to cut this one in half. Half of 6 is, in fact, I'm going to see if 6 goes into this. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 6 will go into this. Because the rule is if it adds up to a number divisible by 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 3 will go into it, and it's an even number, so 6 should go into it. So I'm going to go 138 divided by 6. I get 2, 12, and 18 is remainder. And 6 goes into that 3 times. So this, if I divide both of these by 6, I get 1 over 23. And I'm going to see if, 4 will go into that. Because in my head real fast, I subtracted a multiple of 4, which is 80, and that remainder is divisible by 4. So 4 should go into 92. I'll just find a spot. 92 divided by 4, and then we're going to do some easier ones. There's no point of doing these. That's 2, and that goes 3. So when I reduce this one, divided by 4, it's 1. Divided by 4, I also got 23. So therefore, those two are equal. And we'll go ahead and pick maybe, we'll do 2 more. Like this number 6 and this number 7. Can anybody tell if these are equal? Does 23 go into 46? Yes. In fact, If I can also do this way. If I multiply this by 2 and I get 26, I should be able to multiply this by 2 and get that number. If I don't, it's not proportional. 28 times 2 is 58. So these are equal. And then on this one,
You said 28 times 2 is 29.
did I say 28? I'm so sorry. You're right, it's 29. 29 times, that is a candy, because you're listening, right? So, and I'll get it for you in a little bit. All right, so 29 times 2 is 58. Can anybody see if these two are equal? And you should be able to tell this answer without doing any work whatsoever. They're not. What makes you think that they're not?
The one is 1 of the 9, the other is 9 of the 1.
Yeah, well, in fact, this is small, this is big, but this is big and this is small. Can't happen. They're not going to be proportional. And if I read, it's just not. This reduces down to 1 over 9. This reduces down to 9 over 1. So they are not proportional. And that's it. We're not going to do those anymore. Then, let me see how much we've got here. Oh, these look awful. I don't think we're going to get there. No. No. All right, so we're going to do a couple of these, just a few. This time now, you're going to be finding the missing number. All right, so we're going to be finding the missing number. There's lots of different ways that I can do it. One way is to cross multiply and divide, which we're going to do most of the time. But I don't want to cross multiply a 12 and a 48. It's too big. Can anybody see if I can... So here's another way. I can go across. Is there a way that I can go 6 times something to give me 48? There is. 6 times what?
Flip.
Is 6 times something 48?
Oh, yeah.
What?
6 times.
6 times 8. So again, if you have this kind, there's going across like this. There's cross multiplying. We're going to do a little bit of everything. So 6 times 8 is 48. So to find this number, I multiply by the same factor. 12 times 8 is 96. Right. Then another way that I could have done this one is I could have also gone upwards. No, I couldn't go upwards. I have to go down, because my unknown is on the bottom, so I have to go down. So 6 times 2 would give me 12. And 6 times 2 would give me 12. So I would multiply, if I'm going down, 48 times 2, and it's still 96, no matter how I do it. And we'll do the... And I can read, and that's another way. So in fact, I'm going to put this back down again, because there's many different ways you can solve proportions. I can reduce 6 over 12 to 1 over 2. And here's the cross multiplying way. Is I can cross multiply. I usually do the x first. And then on the other side, I'm going to cross multiply those. So 2 times 48 is 96. And that is it. And cross multiplying is the foolproof way. That's the way you're going to get it right every single time. Right? So I don't want to cross multiply this one because 15 times 18 is too much work. So that's when I'm going to look to see, can I reduce 18 and 45?
9.
9, very good. 9 goes into both of those. So I'm going to divide that by 9. So I've got a over 15 is equal to 18 divided by 9 is 2 over 5. We can either cross multiply and divide, or I can go across from 5 to 15 where I've got a number. So you pick whichever one. I'll cross multiply and divide. So I'm going to go a times 5 is 5a. 2 times 15 is 30. And at this point, you should be able to tell what it is. 5 times what will give you 30? 6. So that missing number is a 6. Or I could continue, and in fact, 18 looks like it is, yeah, it's less than half of 45. This is less than half of 15. So it should be reasonable. Or I can continue and divide by 5, and my A is equal to 6. And this is too big for me to even bother with because I don't want to. I just don't want to. We don't need to deal with big numbers until you really know what you're doing. Okay. On this one, we'll do these two. Can I reduce this one here? Oh no, this one I'm going to do across like this. If I'm drawing these arrows, I draw it in the direction of the unknown. And I go where I've got two numbers. Is it going to be 24 times something to give me 4, or 24 divided by something that will give me 4? Divided by. So because I'm getting smaller. So I'm going to divide by 6, divide by 6. So 24 divided by 6 is 4. 42 divided by 6 is my A. What's 42 divided by 6? 7. So the A is equal to 7. And in fact, this is an interesting one. In the beginning number, 42 is bigger than 24. So my number here should be bigger than the 4, and it is. And at this point, I'm only going to do this one because you need to know that if you have decimals, I don't really want to do that. We'll do it some other day. Okay. I would clear the decimal by moving it twice, but I don't want to do it. Okay. So let's go over to, let me see if there's any here. We'll do it on this one. So flip it over on the back. Okay. So here's one. That other number was way too big. But if I have one, I can't clear that decimal, but I can clear this decimal. I'm going to move it one place to the right and make it a 12. And if I do that, I have to change this one also. So now this is 12 over 21. Can I reduce it anymore? Does something go into 12 and 21? Haley, can you see anything that goes into 12 and 21? A 3. So I'm going to reduce it even more. And so it's going to be 3.6 C is equal to 4 over 7. And at this point, I can cross multiply. Mr. Matthew? Sir, get your head up, sir. Okay. Or I can go this way, in the direction of the variable, in the direction of the variable. Who thinks they know 4 times what will give me 3.6? Do you think it's a 9 or a 0.9? 0.9 times 0.9. So I have to multiply the 7 times 0.9. Who thinks they know what 7 times 0.9 is?
C.
Well, C is going to equal what? What is 7 times 0.9? Or 6.3. So it's 63, and I move the decimal over 1, so it's 6.3. And I don't want to do those anymore. I'm tired. Okay. So flip it over to, well, here's one. No, I don't want to do that. Okay. Let's go over to here. I need to be mindful of our time. Okay, 10:48. We get out of here at, is it 19 after? I always mess up. I think it's, yeah, 19 after. Okay. So we're going to do some of these. So here we go. Let me see, where should we start? Cross multiply and state an equation. I don't want to do that. I might need some paper. Yeah, you might need to use that paper that I gave you. Okay. All right. So again, you can cross multiply and divide, but sometimes you won't be able to do that. So on this one, does 8 go into 56? Yes. So on this one, I would go in the direction of the unknown. 8 times what is going to be 56? Times 7. So what I multiply down here, I multiply here. 8 times 7 is 56. 5 times 7 is the U. So the U is equal to what? What number? 5 times 7 is 35. And if, oh, I've got an answer bank down there. In fact, we're doing, I guess I'm skipping all of row 1. So again, we're doing that second row. Let me look at the time. Right. So on this one, I could cross multiply, or, but again, 9 times 14, when I look at that, I'm going to say, oh, is there another way? Well, I'm going to draw an arrow in the direction of the n. And does 7 something give me 14? Does 7 times something give me 14? What number, Trinity? 7 times 2. So I multiply the bottom one times 2. Have you had ratio and proportion before? Did you have this last year? Okay. So 9 times 2 is 18. And again, 18 is a little bit bigger than 14. 9 is a little bit bigger than 7. Right. Then, can you see what you could multiply this 4 times to get to 80? Is 20. So what I multiply on the top, I'm going to multiply on the bottom. So 4 times 20 is 80. So 3 times 20 is going to be 60. And in fact, 80 is bigger than 60. 4 is bigger than 3. So it should be proportional in that aspect. So 35, 18, and 60. The last one, I guess, is going to be 40. Then 9 times nothing gives me 24. Who knows what you should do with that 15 over 9 first? Reduce it. So 3 goes into both of those. So that's going to be a 5. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. And then I could go across, again, in this direction. 3 times 8 will give me 24. So 5 times 8 is going to give me my answer. And again, that's a lot bigger than 24. As was 15 was bigger than 9. So make sure that your answer looks reasonable. And that was our last answer there. In fact, we're going to skip some. Oh, we're not going to do the last row. All righty. So on this one, can anybody see what I should multiply this one by? By what, Armando? So again, I'm going in the direction of the unknown. 8 times nothing is x. 7 times something 63? 7 times some is 9. So we're going to multiply both of those by 9. So 8 times 9 is 72. My answer is 72. And 72 is a little bit bigger than 63, as was 8 was bigger than 7. So that appears to be reasonable, and it's also in our answer bank. Right. Number 10 is going to be a terrible one to cross multiply, so you want to try to reduce it first. So I'm going to take half of both of those, which is 7 and 4. And then I could, going in the direction of the unknown, is 4 times something 20. 4 times 5. So 7 times 5 should be our answer. 7 times 5 is 35. And if it's bigger, I better look and see. This is bigger than 20. I better see if the original number was bigger than 8, and it was. And what is that? 35. Right. Then this one should be easy. Again, going in the direction of the unknown. Is 11 times something 33? Times 3 times 3. Again, this original fraction was bigger on top than bottom. So our answer that we get should be bigger on top than bottom. 15 times 3 is 45. And that is reasonable. And then, let me see if you can, Vanessa, can you tell what to multiply on number 12? okay, 13 times what will give you 26? Times 2. So I'm going to multiply both of those by 2. 13 times 2 is 26, so 11 times 2 is 22. Oh, there's a good one. Okay, 22, and it's right there. Now, here's one I can do it a little bit different way. I've been going sideways, but no, also, I could have either reduced this 6 over 18, or I could go in the direction of the unknown, 18 divided by 3. Oh, this is awful. Oh, but I'll get the answer. I better not do that. Okay, 18 divided by 3 is 6. 2 divided by 3, it doesn't go. So if I already know the answer. 2 divided by 3 is 2 divided by 3 is 2/3. But I'm going to do this one a different way. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce this. What's that? What? Yeah, but I don't think you understand it like if I just put 2 divided by 3 and I say 2/3. I don't think you're really going to understand it unless I actually do it. So this one I'm going to do right here. I'm going to put C over 2, and I'm going to reduce this, which is 1 over divided by 6. Divided by 6 is 3. So sometimes when you're not quite sure, I would cross multiply and divide. Start with the variable. It's 3C. 1 times 2 is 2. And then to get rid of the 3, I have to divide by 3, divide by 3. And then you can see it a little bit more clearly. I need 3 to make a whole, so this is not going to be a whole. It's just going to be that C is equal to 2/3, which 2/3 is much smaller than 2, as 6 is much smaller than this. The answer is 2/3. And it is down there. All of these are going to be ugly fractions, so I can tell we're going to just do a couple more and then move on. So let's look at, your work is going to be easy today. Okay. So on this one, I don't have much of a choice. 3 doesn't go into 7. So I'm going to go ahead and do what they call the cross products, or cross multiply and divide. Again, cross multiply. 3 times n is 3n. And then 4 times 7 is 28. And then divide by 3, divide by 3. And if that were 27, it doesn't go perfectly, but if that were 27, 27 divided by 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. And I'm going to have 1 left over. So 9 and 1/3. And that's it. So that's... All right, let me look at the time here. Okay, and I'm going to do maybe 2 more up here because I'm going to show you a special way. Let's suppose I didn't want to reduce this. I just want, well, in fact, I can't reduce it. And I didn't want to go across. Cross multiplying works every single time. But sometimes you end up with some big numbers, so I'm going to show you a different way. If I've got 21 over r and 3 over 8, because you might want to do some of the next problems like this. So if I'm doing this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 3 times r, but on the other side, I'm not going to multiply that together. I'm just going to put 8 times 21. Rather than make it real big where I've got to break it up anyway, I'm going to keep it broken up. Then I'm going to divide by 3, divide by 3. Does 3 go into one of those 2 numbers? Does it go into this 21? So 3 does go into 21. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 21 divided by 3 is 7. And there's my answer. Is that r is equal to 56. So again, it's cross multiplying without really multiplying. You keep it broken up. And we're going to do another one like that because you're going to want to do that a lot on the next one that we have. So this is 56, and the bottom is bigger than the top. The bottom here is bigger than the top. And we'll do that one more time on this one. let's suppose I don't want to reduce. I'm worried about my reducing. I'm going to make a mistake. Cross multiplying works every single time. So I'm going to go 9 times n, which is 9n. But when I cross multiply, again, I could put it together, but I'm just going to show you an alternate. So 3 times 12, this one would have come out perfect. And if I saw that ahead, I would just go ahead and do it. But I just want to show you the options that you've got. So this is, I'm dividing by 9 to get rid of the 9. But when I bring the 9 over here, I'm going to put it into its factors of 3 times 3. And I did that because does 3 go into either of these two numbers? Yeah, so you can cross it off completely. And then 3 goes into 12 4 times. In fact, that's my only number left. So n is equal to 4. So that is 4. It's a little bit bigger than the numerator, the denominator, as the 12 was a little bit bigger than the 9. And, okay, perfect. Okay. So you don't have to do any more of these. Okay. Here is your job. Is you're going to do these. You can do it either by, again, I'm going to show you the 3 different ways. Is, well, you can't reduce it. So you can either cross multiply. Cross multiplying always works. 2n, but I would not put that together. 5 times, oh, you can't even see. So I went 2 times n is 2n. 5 times 12 is 5 times 12. But I'm not going to put it together. I'm going to divide it by 2, divide it by 2. Does 2 go into one of those top 2 numbers? Yes, no? Don't be so talkative. 2 goes into the 12 6 times. And there's my final answer, 30. When I multiply that together. Or I could have gone, again, or I could have gone across in the direction of the unknown. 2 times 6 is 12. So 5 times 6 is 30. So no matter what I get, I'm going to get a 30. And that's a lot of stuff to fill out. I would just make sure that the answer is there somewhere, and I don't see it. I must have the wrong answer. Oh, it's right there. And you can put the letter I if you want. Everywhere you see that, you don't have to do that. Can you guys handle this? I want to see if there's one that's special. In fact, I'm going to help you with the Z, because I don't want to reduce that. That's going to take too much effort. Mr. KJ, look alive. Okay, so I'm going to do this letter Z. So n over 4 and 18 over 72. This is too big for me to work with, so watch carefully, Miss Addison. So I'm going to go ahead and go 72 times n is equal to 4 times 18, but I'm not going to put it together. Guys, get your head up, 8th graders. Armando, get your head up. I'm going to put it as 4 times 18, but when I bring this 72 over, I'm going to break it up into its factors of 9 times 8. So I'm going to go 9 times 8. Okay. So again, this is an alternate way that you can do it. I can either reduce this and then go across, or I can cross multiply. Does 9 go into 18? Yes, it does. Okay. And then, in fact, here's our final answer. 4 times 2 is 8, divided by 8. Who thinks they know what the answer is going to be?
0.
What's 8 divided by 8?
Oh, 1.
1. 8 divided by 8 is 1. So that answer is a 1. And again, I could have also reduced it, divided by 9, which is 2, divided by 9, which is 8. And then I could have gone across. Oh, no, I would have had to divide. So you have to be very careful when you're going across. This one I have to divide by 4. No, I can't. Divide by 2 and divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So our answer is 1. So girls and boys, begin that. If you want to sit together, As long as you're showing your work, you may. Show which way are you doing it. Answers only will not count. You have to show me how you did it.